If you're considering buying a home in or around Durango, Colorado, flood risk might not be on your radar, but it definitely should be after the floods and storm a couple weeks ago. We had over 390 evacuations in our county, and we had some very tragic events happen here. So this definitely should be on your radar. In this video, I'm gonna make sure to not just tell you about the news, we're gonna dive into detail about every part of the county, showing you the floodplain map, and also giving you great information on how to look up actual properties yourself, see if they're in the floodplain, see how close they are to the floodplain, and also give you some great insurance recommendations. Just cover this entire subject in great detail so that you have the resources that you need moving forward regarding flood risk, and we're diving into it right now. Now let's talk about what happened. Remnants of Tropical Storm Priscilla brought about 2 to 5 inches over the span of about a week. The main areas that were affected were Pagosa Springs, where water did come all the way up to the road level and did flood some parts of downtown Pagosa Springs. Then Vallecito Reservoir area, Vallecito is right above the reservoir. We'll show that on a map right now. That area had over 80 homes that were damaged. Then it had over 390 homes evacuated, and there were 2 homes, unfortunately, that did have to be demolished as they were having issues with the bridges, and they had to demolish these homes so that they wouldn't affect the bridges or hurt the bridges any more than they were. Now, this was the biggest rainstorm since 1941. Vallecito reached a level of 7,200 CFS, cubic feet per second. Then levees were breached along Grimes Creek, and 12 people did have to be evacuated. Now I want to touch on the community a little bit. In Pagosa Springs, I spoke to an agent just the other day where I was showing his listing. He told me he has 2 homes that are riverfront or very close to the river, and a lot of people really band together, helped him out, built kind of a wall area that protected his home, and it did stop the water from getting to his home. Now there were other people that were 20-30 feet from, I don't know the exact distance from the river there, the San Juan River, and it eroded so much that the home was only a foot or 2 from the edge of the river. So there were really a lot of homes that were very close calls, but a lot of homes that weren't fully affected, fortunately. And by the way, guys, as much as we love shooting these videos, I even love more helping you with your real estate goals. My name's Jon Burden. I'm a licensed realtor here in Durango and Southwest Colorado. Would love to help you with all of your real estate needs, whether it's buying, selling, or investing in this area. We also cover most parts of Colorado as well as New Mexico. Let's jump back into the video. All right, now I actually want to jump into really just showing you the FEMA floodplain maps. We're actually going to show you some screenshots that I took so you can see exactly where there are flood risks. So there's A, there's AE, and AO. Those are all associated with blue. Actually, the orangish is going to be AO. You're not going to see much of that orangish AO, but I'm going to explain what those mean. Let me look down at my notes. 100-year area for which elevations are provided. The dark blue, which is what you're going to see a lot of, is AE, 100-year area with complete stream profiles and elevations. So that's a lot more common. Well, let's talk about those first. Those are going to require flood insurance. Then you're going to see AO, that's an orangish color, 100-year sheet flow with 1 to 3 foot depths. So you're not going to see as deep of flooding there. That area, most of the time, you're going to need flood insurance per any lender you're going to be working with. Although if you're getting cash, you won't need to get flood insurance, but we would recommend it. Then you have AE floodway, that red area, and that is the same as that blue area, meaning you are going to need flood insurance. Then you're going to have yellow, which is X, and that's a 1,000-year floodplain area. So that's really absolutely catastrophic type thing would need to happen for those areas to flood. Typically, you're not going to need to get flood insurance for that area. So I just want to make sure you know what you're looking at before we go over this. So now let's jump into our first area. All right, we're going to start with in-town Durango. So in-town Durango is fairly small, and you do have the Animas River running through in-town Durango. So you will see a few little spots on the map right around the Animas River, but not really big areas around the Animas River that's going into downtown Durango. So that's really nice to see, first of all. Then off to the left, you'll see some coloration there. Now that is Junction Creek. You'll turn onto 25th Street that turns into County Road 204, and that area, there is some flooding risk, but as a whole, in-town Durango, fairly safe just per the flood maps that I'm looking at. Now from there, let's go up north of downtown Durango. And then as we look at that next screenshot of the Animas Valley, you're going to see quite a bit more flood risk. You're going to see a lot of that yellow area, that's that X area. But then as we zoom in, I'll show you a screenshot right now, actually, of Dalton Ranch area, which there are some other neighborhoods in this area as well. And this area does have some flood risk and some areas where you will need flood insurance. So So what I want to illustrate while I'm showing you this map in particular, and this is going to be the same for all these other areas, a lot of these other areas anyway, is there's going to be some little sections of neighborhood that where 5, 6, 10 homes do need flood insurance, where others don't. You still might want to consider it, like we kind of mentioned, where AO is an area where if you're getting a loan, you're needing it, but if you don't get a loan, you don't need it, but you probably should have it. So there's some of those areas in this other screenshot that you're seeing in this Dalton Ranch area. Now we'll show you some video of Dalton Ranch. Dalton Ranch is a really cool subdivision. We have a section of a full video going over this area of town as well. So if you want to check that out or any others, let me know, of course, or any other specific videos, happy to send those to you as well. All right, now let's briefly go back to that last screenshot, zoom out, kind of look at that last screenshot where you'll see Hermosa up at the top. Now, Hermosa, just for reference point, is about 15 minutes or so from downtown Durango. Now, as you look north of that word Hermosa on that screenshot, you're going to see there's a lot less of these colored areas. And this is partly because the river drops down essentially. So there's a home that we just toured and that we just shot a video on, where we did a video on what you can buy for 4 to 5 million. And there's a home in here in neighborhood called Celadon. A lot of these homes sit above the river and look down at the river. There's one home that's very close to the river, but they're still elevated up above the river. So that's why you see these colors kind of fading and kind of disappearing as you go further north. All right, now let's go southwest of town. Basically, we're going south of town, but slightly west as well, west of Highway 550. Now, this area is a really cool area. Let's put up on the screen a screenshot of a video we did where it's Riverfront Homes, West Durango. Now, if you want to check out these areas, if you want to live riverfront, this is a great area. It's a little bit more of that southwest feel, a little bit more deserty type feel in here, but some really pretty views, some really great riverfront properties. A lot of properties are kind of perched up above the river. Now, not a ton. There are still some homes that are right near the river. So jumping into this screenshot that we've got right here on the floodplain is you'll see there's not a ton of that yellow and red that you saw up in the Animas Valley. And the main reason is that what I just mentioned is there's a lot of homes that are a little up above the river. So this might be a better area to live, at least for that reason in particular. Now, the other thing I'll mention is there still are some homes right on the river. We'll show you kind of a zoomed in screenshot of some homes or just some parcels that are right on the river. All right, now let's head west of downtown Durango, going directly west on Highway 160. Now, you wouldn't think there'd be a lot of water this direction, but you have Lightner Creek, and this creek is running kind of parallel to the highway, and then it shoots up north from there. Now, you'll see on the screen, there is some red, there is some yellow, there is some blue, so there are some spots that you got to watch out for. There's a really cool area called Lightner Creek that has that creek running right through it. Some great water. There's some cool homes with some big ponds there. The water feeds from that creek, so you do want to just be careful in that area. Keep a lookout. And again, a resource that I will give you is there's a great way to just type in this specific address into a website and you can see the exact flood risk for that area. And now let's head over to Bayfield. So Bayfield's approximately 30 minutes east of downtown Durango, and Bayfield's a really amazing spot. I really love Bayfield. I've been showing a lot of homes up there lately. Really enjoy it. Your prices are going to be a lot lower than living in Durango because you're just getting a little further away from the bigger downtown, a lot more amenities in Durango, but there's still some great amenities in Bayfield, some amazing hunting, amazing fishing. Just to give you a little bit of information about Bayfield. By the way, guys, I've got a great playlist all about Bayfield, and we're planning to do some more really cool videos about some new developments they have going on in there. I'm going to mention something real quick. They've got some townhomes they're working on, and there are still a few available. That 1,200 square foot range, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1-car garage, and those are under $400,000. So just to give you an idea of price points in there, you can get in some homes for under $400,000. Now, I know I'm digressing. Let's jump back into the flood risk here. So we're going to put up on the screen a screenshot of, again, that floodplain area in town Bayfield. We've got the Pine River running right through Bayfield, and as you can see, you see a lot of red there, you see a lot of blue and some yellow as well. There's quite a few of those colors in there. You want to look out as you're going kind of west of downtown Bayfield. All right, now let's continue up north of Bayfield, and you're going to see that section where the Pine River is running through. Now, there's some really cool luxury homes in here, but again, you just want to be aware that Pine River is running right north and south of Bayfield. So as we continue up north, you're going to see that off to the left there. And then as we continue up north, the area, unfortunately, that was really affected is the Vallecito area. So we'll put up on the screen the distance from Durango to Vallecito so you can have a good understanding of the distance. A lot of my clients don't end up liking this area only for the reason that the distance is just fairly far drive. It is higher elevation here. So just want to give you a few little tidbits of information about this area first and dive into some flood maps. So we'll put up on the screen the flood floodplain map of this area. And the trick here is it's higher elevation. So higher elevation above this area, they got a lot more rain and it came down pretty quick. And the homes are very, very close to the river and they're not elevated much at all. So those are some of the reasons why these homes did get affected. But you can see right here, all of those colors right there, where a lot of these homes are in that flood zone. All right, now let's start by telling you how to check if a specific address is in a flood zone or what type of flood zone it is in. So first, we're gonna actually just put this up on the screen, the website, but it's gonna be msc.fema.gov. You can type this into that search bar there, hit enter, and it will tell you what area this is in. Like we discussed, we'll put up on the screen the legend again, that A, AO, AE, all for the most part are gonna need to get insurance. AO is kind of a maybe, but for the most part, you will need it with any lending. All right, then let's just tell you how to get to the floodplain map that I was showing you. Now you're gonna go, we'll put this up on the screen as well, but gis.lpcgov.org, that's gonna get you there. Then you're gonna go into the layers. First, you're gonna look for the floodplain, FEMA floodplain. Click on the drop down and you're gonna go to 2024 flood FEMA floodplain. So click on that, then you'll be able to see that. You can zoom into different areas. It is a little bit finicky on your phone, but on a desktop, it works really well. Now, a few really important things you need to know. There are some moratoriums, and those are you can't necessarily get insurance the same day you call and ask for flood insurance specifically, I should say. Now, if it is in that X area, it is pretty easy to get that insurance the same day or pretty darn quickly. If it's in an AE, AO, or even A area, for the most part, these areas you have to wait 30 days before they give you that insurance. Some companies you can get them within 14 days. Now there are some limits to some insurance companies on the amount of coverage you can get as well. I spoke to somebody at State Farm and what I was told, now of course verify this for yourself, these things could change and there could be some if this happens then this or some dependent circumstances on this, but what I was told is up to $250,000 for the home can be covered and $100,000 for personal property. Now I talked to somebody else, a great resource, and we're actually going to shoot some videos in a couple weeks or next week as well on this insurance topic. But what Zach was telling me over at Goosehead is that he's able to insure much higher, up to $3 million even, for flood insurance itself. Now let's dive into some details on how that looks money-wise. All right, for an AE area, we're looking at about $1,200 to $1,500 for $250,000 of coverage. Now, if you go all the way up to $750,000 of coverage, we're looking at about $3,000 per year, $3,000 to $3,500, I should clarify. So about 100% increase for every $250,000. Now there are a lot of factors that go into that. Some of those factors, just gonna look down at my notes, it's gonna be how elevated your house is, if the crawl space is elevated, how far it is into that specific flood zone. And there are a few others, but of course, make sure to talk to somebody like Zach or a great insurance agent to go over all of those details. Now we're just gonna give you a little bit more of a specific checklist before you're buying a home. And of course, like I mentioned, I'm a licensed realtor here in Durango and Southwest Colorado, so I'm happy to help you guys with this as well. Make sure to dive into these details with you as you're looking at homes. But let's go over that checklist. So first of all, before buying, always check the flood zone elevation certificate. So if there's not a survey on the property, of course, I do recommend getting an elevation certificate and a survey so that they can actually look at this and tell you things like the slope away from the home. We just had a client look at putting in French drains or analyzing the entire property as well because of runoff. There was kind of a hill, or there was a big hill right behind the home, and they were curious about runoff. So that's something else I can help you with regarding referring you somebody that can look at the property and really give you a good thorough analysis of if it needs drainage and just analyzing what you might need to do with the property regarding drainage. Then just understanding the flood zone. So you might need special flood insurance per the lender, even if it's in an area where you're not too concerned about. Then definitely, like we mentioned a second ago, understanding the premium coverage, understanding what you're going to pay for that flood insurance. Now, looking at a seller's disclosure is also very important. Now, you're going to do this regardless, but looking for any flooding history and even asking the seller specifically, hey, have you had any flooding history? Now, guys, we've got some upcoming interviews planned with a local insurance agent, so we're going to go into a lot more depth on all things insurance, so make sure to keep a lookout for that. My name's Jon Burden. I'm a licensed realtor here in Durango and Southwest Colorado. If you're even thinking about moving to this area or any part of Colorado or New Mexico, we've got your back when it comes to moving here. Give me a call, text, or email, days, nights, weekends. Looking forward to helping you out. I'll talk to you soon. See you guys.